speak for itself. Grinding in silence, ain't nothing to tell. When we step on the court, we gon' bring it to light. And we stop and pop like we caught it a light. Stop asking what's wrong with me. You already know there's a dog in me. And there's no stopping my focus, man. Make sure all my people gon' ball with me. Yeah, I came to compete, I'm a dog with it. Yeah, I came to compete with my paws in it.
What's up, guys? It's your boy JD, Jordan Delks, mindset guru and basketball trainer right here at Compete Training Academy, home of the Barn in North Central Indiana. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if this is your regular space to get your mind right, you are family to my wife, Courtney, and I. And today, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm sitting right here in my barn, this holy, sacred space where people come to train on the court, but most importantly, their mindset and souls, because your mind and your soul goes first, then your life follows. And I have a very special episode here today. But before I dive into the title and my co-host introducing him, I want to direct you to my website, competetrainingacademy.org. Grab a copy of my book, The Compete Mentality. I can't wait to get it into your hands. It is a guide to realize your purpose and max out your potential in this life. And without further ado, I get to introduce, with great pleasure, my co-host, my brother from another mother, mindset client, and co-host for this podcast, Damon Foreman. Damon, thanks for joining me here, a.k.a. number 17 is his spiritual name. Yeah. Thank you for joining me on the podcast here today, brother.
What's up, JD? It's been a while, man. Like I'm excited to get back on here with you.
Yeah. So Damon and I, we've been co-hosting the Wednesday episodes, and we talk about the Compete Mentality business principles each and every week. And this past week, we got to hear number 17, my co-host and partner, speak and give a sermon entitled Empty Rooms. And if you did not listen to it, you need to go back to last week and listen to it, because it was absolutely incredible. I listened to it while I was running, and I'm pretty sure I did my fastest mile of my life as I was listening to that. He was firing me up about what am I filling up my spirit and my life with. So go back, check it out. But today we get to dive into thoughts. And we want to talk about thoughts. Thoughts become things. The title of today is Think Right, Do Right, Feel Right. In business, in sport, in life, everything begins with the thought. Thoughts lead to emotions. Emotions lead to actions. Actions lead to results. Think about that in a circle. Thoughts, emotions, actions, results. Then it begins with thought. So I'm sitting here in the barn, and you can see a basketball goal behind me. And the reason I know this is because we have a lot of great players that come through this barn and train, and every one of them misses shots. Okay? Every one of them misses shots. But it's the thoughts that come after the missed shots that I can truly see if one is an average player, an average mindset, or an elite player, an elite mindset. So let's think about this. You miss a shot, then you have the thought that I suck. Then it leads to the emotion of unworthiness, which leads to actions of playing unworthy defense, which leads to results of your butt getting on the bench. All right, think about business. Think about life when adversity punches you in the mouth. All right? Then we have the player who misses a shot, but all he does, that thought, he still has the thought that he sucks. Okay? You would never choose a negative thought, and we're going to get into it when this podcast, as we continue on with today. But you may have a negative thought. Okay? But then it's the emotion part where it controls the rest of the cycle. So let's say the elite player misses a shot and he thinks he sucks, but then he quickly gathers himself and he directs his emotion to, think about this, everything is energy. Faith and doubt have the same exact definition. So instead of doubting himself, which faith and doubt are both defined believing something is about to happen. Woo-wee! I know somebody just literally dropped the weights, lifting weights right now, or just hit them like a ton of bricks driving in the car right now. Faith and doubt have the same definition, believing something is about to happen. So where will you place your energy? It takes the same amount of energy to have faith as it does to doubt. So doubt is just misplaced energy. So back to the great shooter, they're going to place their energy into faith that the next one's going in, that the next one's going in. And they have to believe that. And then it leads to emotion, energy in motion. Emotions lead to actions. So instead of them identifying in the last shot, they stay present. They get their butt back on defense. They get a stop. Then they sprint their butt back down on offense. And they have open hands. They're ready for the shot. They're ready for the next opportunity. Then they knock it down because they controlled the emotions. You control the emotion part. You control the rest of the cycle. And then if you do, you get the results that are in alignment with that future version of yourself. Damon, as I introduced the concept of thoughts, kind of describe, we're coming up on your year anniversary of mindset training with me. I remember going through this about a year ago with you. When I first went through thought cycle like this, tell me, what was your reaction? How did this apply to your business specifically and your life?
Yeah, so I'll get to the question, but I wanted to, anyone listening out there, we're at the T on the compete acronym. So if it's first time listening or haven't heard the whole acronym, make sure you go back and listen to the COMPE, and now we're at T. So and we're on thoughts. And saying that, I remember, Jordan, when we sat down, and even I remember when you came and talked to our employees, you going through this, and I remember thinking thoughts. You said this desk was a thought, and this room filled with people was a thought. And so that really got my mind going of like that we can create things with our mind. I think that in business especially, I never really thought of it that way. I think I did it a lot, but I was never conscious of it. And when you're not conscious of it, or you can't control it, a lot of times because of the way we've been raised or grown up, or just being, in the world that we live in general, it does kind of sometimes go negative on your thoughts, and negative thoughts become things too. And that's where, from my background being in business, I was like a light bulb, like, whoa, okay, we got to figure out, all right, how do we start to make more conscious decisions to have positive thoughts that lead to positive things, and the things that we do want in our life rather than what we don't want. And when you think about, business especially, like, we can get down on ourselves. There's a lot. Business is just like basketball. Like, you have one thing that doesn't go well, can lead to another thing, can snowball, and so with business, when we lose that client, or we lose that sale, or we have that lawsuit, or that issue come up that's really big, like, how are we going to respond with our thoughts, and especially then with our emotions? Because like you said, our emotions are leading that call to action, really. I mean, that's what our emotions do, like energy in motion. What are we going to do? And so, that's what I see just off the top of my head of, from that first meeting that we had to now. just seeing all the different thoughts and emotions that have played out over the last year, has been a really fun thing to see in my mindset.
Well said, Damon. I like how you said when I first spoke to your company of how you saw thoughts playing out, whether you realized it or not. And all you listeners, I want you to understand this is the thought cycle. Like, this is how life plays out, whether you realize it or not. So now I want to pose the question to you guys. Where does a thought come from? Where does a thought come from? And so now we're going to get deep here today. I'm not ducking anything today. All right. Where do thoughts come from? All right. So I want you to picture that cartoon that you watched where the devil was on one shoulder and an angel is on the other. And it was like the cartoon character could literally listen to the devil or the angel, right? So John Gordon has a great book called The One Truth. I highly recommend it. Everyone who goes through my mindset training programs, we read this in the first 6 months of my mindset training program. Got to read it. Got to pick it up. Go order it after you finish listening to this podcast. And he does such a great job explaining where thoughts come from. And there's 3 planes of existence. There's the physical, there's the mental, and the spiritual. And in short, thoughts come from the spiritual realm of existence. You have thoughts, you are not your thoughts. You have thoughts, you are not your thoughts. And you can control what thoughts that you choose to think about. The scriptures say, think about what is honorable, lovely, pure, praiseworthy. Think on these things. Okay? So let me explain it to you a little bit. Thoughts come from the spiritual realm, evil and good. And your brain is not where thoughts come from. You have a brain, you're not your brain. Your brain is a tool and an organ. But your brain is like your radio transmitter on your car. And just on your car, where you can tune in to country, today's hits, rap, whatever. You can literally tune into it. You can do the same thing with your thoughts. And so this is where I found, like, Damon Foreman has a very strong mindset when it comes to life and business. I just got back from the Final Four, and I trained Mason Gillis, and he's a very successful basketball player that played at Purdue and Duke University. He has a very strong mindset. From the successful mindsets like Damon and Mason that I'm learning from, I see that they do a great job at controlling their thoughts. Do they battle negative thoughts? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because as we just determined, negative thoughts come from the spiritual realm. You can't see it. Where did that negative thought you thought, I had negative thoughts today? Where in the world did they come from? Okay? Guys, Ephesians 6:12 says our battle is not against flesh and blood. Your battle is not against the team you're playing against. Your battle is not against the business that you're competing against. It's not against the lawsuit. It's not against whatever adversity you're dealing with in business. It's literally a spiritual war. Everything is a spiritual war. Everything. Your battle's not against your spouse. It's a spiritual war. It's you versus you. And it's you and your relationship with God. So, Damon, as I presented this to you almost a year ago, when I told you where thoughts came from, what was your first reaction? And then as you've grown in the compete mentality over the last year, how have you been able to control your thoughts? And how has it played out, maybe for good or for bad, when you understand thoughts become things and where they come from?
So, controlling your thoughts was a big thing when we first started. And I think that was something that Taylor really loved about what you were um, teaching us was, that you can't afford one negative thought. And we all have them. And, from a business perspective, looking back and realizing some of the things that I possibly manifested with some of my negative thoughts. And the way that those negative thoughts work is if you have a negative thought, that's fine, but let's push it out and let's replace it with a positive thought or, a reciprocating thought that is not negative. But when you let it fester and you let the emotion build and you let the feelings happen, that's when you're manifesting those thoughts. I mean, and so getting to that point where you feel so emotional about a positive situation or what you want your life to look like, especially in a business, like is it a certain client? I mean, JD, you've told me a ton of different stories where, you just had this really positive emotion about specific clients and that, out of nowhere, here they come. And so, same with your business. If you're wanting something, if you're wanting your business to look a certain way, if you're wanting your life to look a certain way, the mindset sessions that we've had is like think about what that life looks like and feel it. And like and honestly that's weird. Like it's a weird thing, right? Like it was something that I had never thought of or felt like I knew how to do. But if I looked back on my life, there were several instances where I actually remember, especially in sports, where I actually remember having a listening to a song and like envisioning myself winning a certain game. And like I remember feeling flooded with the emotion and like it happened, And so it's the same thing that we do, whether it's a positive or whether it's a negative. And when we have those thoughts, especially those positive ones, really take time to dig into them. Like when you find out, I mean, JD, we talk about all the time, like, what do you want, Damon? Like, what do you want? Or what does God want? Right? And sit with those things and let yourself feel them. Like, let yourself feel it. Like, I always think of, and this is just me, I like to be sitting in the sun, right? So, like, whenever I am thinking about a specific goal or a specific thing in business, especially that I would like to see happen, like, it's nice if I can do it when I'm in the sun, but I always think about myself being on a beach when I'm sitting thinking about it with my eyes closed. Like I think about that sun just beating down on me and like sitting on the beach and like I'm not in the beach, but that's where I feel like I am. And that gets me in the right space to feel that thing that I'm trying to do and that I'm trying to manifest in my life. And so I hope that's like, it's different for me to talk about those types of things, but like that's an applicable piece of like your thoughts and how to sit with them and how to make them become emotions. Because I think our negative emotions, they just ride. Like you let them go, they're going to take you there. Because I don't know the science behind that, but you don't have to do much for a negative thought to take you into that emotional roller coaster. But for a positive one, for me, you have to really, really hone in on it and like force it into that positive emotion situation. And so, hadn't really thought of it that way until we started talking, JD. So, hope that was.
That was fire. That was awesome. Way to go. That was a great way to describe it. And controlling your emotions really, to kind of piggyback off what you just said, Damon, is getting to the present moment. Controlling your thoughts is getting to the present moment. The three planes of existence, the past, the present, the future. If you're feeling regrets and living from regret, mistakes, failures, that's past. And that's living in the past. And remember, that past literally becomes blockages and becomes a part of you if you don't deal with it energetically the right way. So like missing shots, right? If you continually say, I suck after I miss shots, and you don't control that thought cycle, right? It's going to become a part of you. And it's not only going to happen on the basketball court, but it's going to happen in school. It's going to happen in business. It's going to happen in life. If you live in the future, living in the future, there's anxiousness, stress, worry. That's all future thinking, okay? What Damon is saying here, you've got Psalm 46:10, be still and know that I am God. This is why Damon and I are literally so, I think I can speak for you too, Damon. Like our lifeline is our morning and evening routines of when we can get still to do all the things that help our mindsets and spirits. Like, for example, I am addicted. I just got a sauna. I just threw that into my morning or evening routine. But I love, and I got my cold plunge working again. It's been out of commission for the wintertime, conveniently. But I got my cold plunge working again. And so like this morning, running, I woke up and I journaled. That's the first thing I did. I didn't look at my phone. I journaled, and it's my bedside journal. And that is, all my clients have a bedside journal where it's 5 questions in the morning, 5 to 6 questions in the evening, every single day, the same ones, just to get your mind set on things above. Then I go out and I focus on reading scriptures, reading a good book. And then I drink my decaf coffee. And then I go, I went on a run this morning for 30 minutes outside. It was freezing cold in Indiana. But I did it because it made me feel like a spirit. Like my body was cold and I was just running from spirit. And I went for a 5K run. Then I got back. I hopped in my sauna for 30 minutes at 150 degrees and just sweated out. And my sauna has a Bluetooth. And so I was just listening to worship music for 30 minutes straight, left my phone outside the sauna, and I was just pumping worship music into my mind. As soon as I was done with that, I went and got into my cold plunge, which was 5 minutes at 39 degrees, and started my day. My whole point is that whole routine was not for it. Yes, I value physical health, obviously, but that wasn't for my physical health, guys. It wasn't. I did it to set my freaking spirit and my mindset on fire so I go on this podcast with my partner here, Damon Foreman, and light you guys up. And so I can pour into my clients. And so I can encourage people. And if I don't do that stuff, I don't have the energy that I need to help people. I don't have the energy I need to coach people. That's when I walk into my house at the end of a long day coaching clients and I pop off at my wife or kids and I'm impatient. But if I take care of my spirit like I did, I am less likely to do those things. I definitely still do those things. I'm definitely human, but I'm less likely to. So I would encourage you guys as we close. Thoughts become things. It's the power of awareness. Do a thought audit. What are some of your strongest thoughts? Just write them down. What are the strongest thoughts that you have? Like, what thoughts carry an emotion? Like, this is why I have an I am statement. This is why Damon has an I am statement. My I am statement is, I am a healthy, present husband and father that's a $1 billion CEO saved by grace through faith in Jesus Christ. I say that with emotion because I believe it. And I've said that for about 4 or 5 years in a row. I believe it more today than I did starting out 4 or 5 years ago. What's your I am statement? What thoughts carry the strongest emotions? Damon, as we close, what word of encouragement or final thoughts do you have for our audience?
I would say when it comes to thoughts, sometimes you have to force it. Don't be afraid of that. Like don't feel like that's wrong. Because like I was telling you earlier, like those negative thoughts, you can take those and you can ride them as far as you want and you don't have to force it. But on those positive ones and those things that we want out of our life and we know that God's calling us for, like those are the ones that we make sure that you're forcing those. Go all in on them. Push for them. Write down, here's what I'm going to think about this morning. Here is what I'm going to think about. And if it starts to stray away, pull yourself back. I mean, that's what I tried to do this morning. I had like a 30-minute long, I used the pause app. Jordan, you put us onto that in our gold standard group. I just kept going and going until I felt like I had done what I needed to do from a thought perspective and thinking positively about the day, the month, the year, 2 years, 10 years, whatever it is. And so that's what I want to encourage you is like just force it. Force those positive thoughts and that positive thinking.
I love it. They say fake it till you make it, right? You got to sometimes force it. You got to fake it till you make it. You may, like I said, I didn't believe my I am statement the first time I said it. I didn't even believe it. Didn't even feel right. Okay. But the more you do it, the more faith the size of a mustard seed can move a mountain. And when you go on this journey with God to become all that you can be and put all your heart, soul, mind, and strength into Him, watch how your thoughts start aligning and watch God move. You also, as I close this, you got to surround yourself with mind-right maniacs, so to speak. You got to surround yourself with people who think the right way. The best things I have ever done are join mindset groups that help me level up and align with my I am statement that I just told you. So does your center of influence, the people that you surround yourself the most with, does your center of influence look like a pack of lions? Because if it doesn't, you need to make some adjustments. So I want to make an invitation. We have 2 mindset communities, Dream Season 10X and Gold Standard. I'm putting an open invitation out to you, listener. May this be the open door that you were looking for you to join one of our mindset communities, to get your mind right, to set your spirit on fire, just like Damon did, just like I have. Join one of our communities today. Go to our website, competetrainingacademy.org, fill out a questionnaire. I'll get back with you, and I'd love to speak with you. Guys, thank you for joining us each and every Wednesday. Truly a pleasure and an honor. Like, subscribe, and share this episode with the 1, 2, 5 people that God literally placed on your heart. Go compete.